the Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras! And welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight we are joined by the captain of the Krewe of Isis, Kristin Bertucci. Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Doing good. Joining us. So tell us a little bit about the origins of the parade.
So the parade was founded in 1972, and it actually started rolling in Kenner, and they paraded in Kenner for about 7 years. And the first year was actually the Krewe of Athena, and then they changed the name the following year, and it became Krewe of Isis, and then they moved to Metairie, and then 2020 is when we moved back to Kenner.
Do you have any idea what was the reasoning behind the name change, or was it?
It was something with the naming. Somebody else had the name already, or
Okay.
I don't remember what it exactly was.
Do you know if they were running on the, essentially the route that y'all run today?
I don't know that.
Well, a lot of that wasn't really around back then.
Right, yeah.
Probably not. It probably had a ride.
Probably on Williams,
Right?
Yeah.
which is now not allowed to ride because we tried. We tried.
I thought they were trying to do that at one point with when everybody was attempting that move last year.
We're trying to get to, instead of going to Joe Yenny because it's really dark at night, there's nowhere for people to park. We were trying to go down Vintage to Williams to the Pontchartrain Center, but it's a state highway, so you can't block the state highway.
What, Williams?
Mm-hmm.
With veterans or...
But both sides would have to be blocked because of exiting the casino was one of the reasons. And then veterans, when you're on it, you can still access other ways. That's why they had to change by Clearview with the hospital now. So they can't block the hospital access. So.
I feel like when there's a will, there's a way.
Mm-hmm.
And if Kenner really wanted to have that attention...
That's what I said. I don't know how long we'd actually block off Williams. People leaving the casino. They could wait a few more minutes. It takes more money.
I mean, Orleans Parish, they find their workarounds. They have the parade signs in certain areas that, hey, on parade day, you can't be in this area. FYI. So, if they really wanted to, they could, I'm sure they could find like a statue or like a...
Just easier just to run them while they are.
I feel like Williams is such a convenient place, especially with all the business.
It would make more sense to me, as a parade goer to have it there, but I can see that reasoning, especially like hospital access.
Mayor Zahn was on board, and then he had his lawyers or whoever investigate, and they were like, no, it is a federal highway or a state highway, whatever. We can't block it, so.
Oh, well, I like the route.
We tried.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the route last, I keep trying to say last year, but last ride in 2020.
It was very well attended.
Yeah.
The crowds were thicker than we ever had since I had started riding in Metairie, so.
We were trying to, we go to like everything. So we had made a bunch of parades, and then we were going to try to hit Demi and then run out to CL. And Demi was flying. So we just went, forget it, let's go to Kenner. We caught y'all right at the turn going on to, what is that?
Loyola. Yeah, so we were able to catch y'all. Yeah, we were able to catch y'all pretty close to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And
coming out of the shopping center, I just remember like, oh my gosh, like there's multiple people deep, like in veterans we didn't see that crowd.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see people come out.
It's very refreshing to see that. I would almost say that moving to Kenner again brought almost a new life to the parade.
It did. We got a lot of inquiries right after, changing our signature throw may have helped. Moving the route back to a neighborhood. Lots of inquiries, which we're still getting.
Yeah.
See, I've always been an advocate for keeping parades in neighborhoods. Now, you're on a good-sized street, but it still feels like a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've always hated that New Orleans has gotten rid of so many of those because, well, number one, now St. Charles is just jam-packed. It doesn't matter what parade you go to, it's thick.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the feel of the neighborhood parades, and I kind of brought that back over there, which is nice.
Yeah.
So you'd mentioned that y'all have a decorated throw.
Yeah. When I started riding, our decorated throw was flip-flops, and people just kind of stopped doing it. I think because Muse's shoes were a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Catching a rubber flip-flop wasn't as exciting, I guess. I don't know. And one of our officers was diagnosed with cancer, and we had several ladies in the crew that had breast cancer. So we were like, well, let's do bras. And that was before we even knew we were moving to Kenner Bra. So it just kind of worked out. But we started decorating bras, and a portion of the proceeds from what we sold for the tags that we sold, we donated to a breast cancer support group in the local area.
It's a wonderful cause. Yeah. I have to say, I did get a chuckle out of y'all going to bras when y'all moved to Kenner. I was like, is that purposefully? And they're like, oh no, that's for breast cancer awareness. Like,
it was really in the works before. It really was in the works. I promise.
Oh yeah, we believe you.
So right before the show, we had mentioned that this is actually your first year as captain.
Yep.
How has your first year as captain been so far?
Definitely a learning experience. Unfortunately, our captain passed away in the end of April last year of COVID, and the board decided that I was the best choice for moving forward. And I had actually the first captain, Joyce Blondo. I had her blessing, and she, I talked to her right before we came here just to check the facts to that before, we talked. And it was exciting. I've grown up in Mardi Gras. So it's been a learning curve, but I've had the best mentors / dad that I could possibly have to learn the ropes of being a captain.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
You do have an experienced father as captain.
I do. I do. Yeah. He's been captain of Carrollton since 1996.
Oh, wow.
So I've watched it.
Were you in the court or anything before?
The year he was captain was the year I was a maid.
No, I mean
of Isis.
Yeah.
No, when they started renting the floats from Carrollton, I think it was the second year that they were renting from Carrollton. I was like, let me support the crew to help support the crew of Carrollton in the process. And then I just joined and I fell in love with it, and got a whole float of my own together that first year. And
how many members do y'all typically ride with?
We have right at 200 people.
Okay.
So like I said, we get lots of people right now. They're all excited because, people are holding off. I don't know if we're going to ride. I don't want to spend the money and then not ride. And we have people.
Well, I mean, just like last year.
Super excited.
We were all in the same boat. So they were like, well, if we don't use it, we might have to do a small fee or whatever for administration costs. But they carried over everything, people that are waiting are going to be left out as far as I can feel, because you can't schedule extra floats all of a sudden. You can't be like, you need to have things in between floats and everything. So people need to get on the bandwagon and get with it. I mean, we're close enough now. It's running. We're doing it.
Right.
Do you think they're going to... I'm sorry.
So tell us a little bit about the parade itself. I know y'all roll on, as long as I can remember, it's always been the Saturday leading into Mardi Gras.
Yep, Saturday leading into Mardi Gras. The same day as Endymion and Tux and Iris. But we have the people that don't want to go out into the town, into the city. So we have our own following. We have 17 floats this year.
Which is an impressive size. I mean,
considering we took a year off, I think that's pretty good. We maintained what we had before the pandemic. So
that's good. I hope that being in the new neighborhood, you are allowed to grow, because especially if you're getting good crowds out there, people would want to ride. I mean, that's one of the complaints. And I love riding Metairie. I've been a Metairie boy, but it hurts to ride with not much of a crowd. You're kind of like, oh man, I've decorated all this stuff and everything. You want that crowd.
Right. I remember one of the years when we were riding to Metairie, we were the engineers. We were City Park trained, and we had our overalls on and riding down Severn, and the water was just like ankle, mid shin, and we're like, there is nobody to throw to. It was. But when you found somebody, they were bombarded with beans because we're like, there's somebody to throw to. Everybody get them.
I used to love being the kid in the rain, but they're like, you gonna go out there and get that? I'm like, yeah, man, watch this. Well, give me some doubloons,
Yeah. Oh, it's like the Mardi Gras, past Mardi Gras that were the really like today's weather, like really cold, gloomy, rainy, and like you'll be rolling down St. Charles, and you'll see about 100 people for the 20 blocks. You know, like a few people here and there, and then when you get to the stands, like very empty,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's not until you get like over like Canal River Street that's really packed. So I feel like there's been a couple years where, you know, people didn't show up because of the weather, but then in the following year, same weather, but twice the show up. You know,
There's no rhyme or reason
Yeah.
what people do. They're crazy.
You mentioned your signature throat. May
Yes.
we see one? Because
So-
Devin said he was going to model.
Can I bra? Oh wait, you want to
yeah,
model
nice.
it? It's quite small.
Might
So,
just suck
but
it
they
on
have
that
we
one.
have tags, and we want people to tag the crew's Facebook page, or send us pictures when they catch them.
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
really cool.
And they're all decorated different ways. So
Do y'all do like decorating parties or?
some of the floats have been getting together and decorating as groups, or for our ball this weekend we had our stroll in the morning, and we went on the Creole Queen, and we had an umbrella decorating contest and now that they get to lead the second line at the ball and then get a $50 crew credit, they were like, well, I'm going to win next year. So competition's on.
How do y'all choose your royalty each year?
They approached the captain, and we actually have a waiting list for a few years now.
So you mentioned y'all's ball. Tell us a little bit more about what happens at y'all's ball.
At the ball, we moved the ball to the to the Hilton this year, and we introduced our king and queen. We had 6 mademoiselles. We had 4 ladies in waiting and 4 junior dukes and 2 pages, and then our passport, of course,
Okay.
paraded around. So
And what's y'all's theme this year?
our theme is "Let Me Tell You a Story."
Okay.
No, just tell them a theme.
Let me tell you a story. And the floats all embody different types of stories. We've got Finding Nemo. We've got Little Mermaid, but they're not all Disney. We have
Some nursery rhymes, I'm assuming.
we have The Fox and the Grapes and Aesop's Fable.
Okay.
So
Pretty Little Pig.
we do not have the
Little Red
3 Little
Riding
Pigs
Hood?
because I could not put women on a pig float. I'm sorry.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Nope, no Little Red Riding Hood.
What about the 3 pigs? Oh no, I already said pigs. The stewage and the beds and all that. Which one was that? Goldilocks.
No, we don't have that one either. I can't think. What?
You haven't been to the den yet this year. Usually I see all that before.
I went to the den, but my mind has been so focused on getting ready for the ball that, it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah. So I know that besides decorated bras, y'all have a very special doubloon type that you throw.
We do. Our doubloon is actually a shaped doubloon, and it's shaped like the Ankh, which is this Isis's symbol, and
Mhm.
Isis is the goddess of fertility and strength. So, pretty fitting for our crew who has survived all these years. We're the oldest women's parading crew.
Yeah, I saw that fact online that y'all are the oldest women's parading crew in Jefferson Parish.
Yep.
And the largest. And I think I also saw the fact that y'all are the longest continuous running parade in Jefferson Parish. Is that correct?
As far as I know, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was wondering because, like I said, I pulled out the spares from the old doubloon collection just to kind of see how far back it went and all that. And there was a couple of years missing, which were probably just missing the doubloon. I was wondering if y'all had taken some time off for it.
Not that I'm
It's
aware
been
of. I'm pretty sure it's been
continuously
continuous. I mean, it started as, like I said, Athena, and then the following year, it was a group of women that just got together, and they were like, we're watching our husbands have all this fun. We want to have fun, too. And they decided to join together, and they started a parade.
Wow.
That's how it normally works. And we've asked about the origin lots of times, and it's usually like, oh, well, sitting around having a glass of wine, and before you know it, we're ordering floats, or marching crew, or whatever. And
Right.
almost always the same
Or like
story.
a crew gets too large
Mhm.
and
They break off.
they break like a splinter cell.
Do you have a personal favorite theme that you've ridden with the crew?
I really liked the city park theme. We had the city park train and the
Yeah.
arts. That was a good one.
And you've been with the crew, I think before the show you said about 9 or 10 years?
8 years, I think it is. I think I've been officer for 5. And then became the head honcho this year.
Are you liking the role, or is it?
I do like it. I do.
I mean, I'm sure it's a lot, but
as a teacher
kind of
during the
labor of
day,
love
and then
sort
at
of
the
thing,
last minute putting it together.
And
Last
then
minute details
moonlighting
were
as a cat.
right.
So you're a teacher.
I teach all day, and then
You're probably showing a lot of videos. And
I have a
making
student teacher. She helped me out a lot this year. Shout out to my student teacher who kind of took the lead for a week.
Nice.
Can I ask you a side question?
Sure.
So you're from here, right?
Yes.
Growing up until today, what's your preference on parades? Like, do you like the Orleans Parish? Do you hold more sentimental and nostalgic value towards the Orleans Parish parades or the Jackson Parish parades?
Honestly, growing up, the only parade we went to in Orleans Parish was Carrollton.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the parades, we would go to my aunt's house on Hesper and walk to Bonneville.
Mm-hmm.
I rushed to get my homework done every night so we could go. And we'd go catch the parade, and we stood in the middle so we could catch it twice.
I think that's one thing I appreciated about the Jefferson Parish Parade is growing up here, is that I could literally walk outside my door, walk 3 blocks, because I used to live off West Metairie, and I would catch, Suburban right there?
Mm-hmm.
And I would catch the Suburban parades, and, Irish Italian wasn't too far, so year round, I was able to catch parades, and I really had no excuse, whereas in Orleans Parish, you've seen me ride my bike from my house. Like, it was a lot more work to get to Orleans Parish parade with the traffic and whatnot. But I feel like with Metairie, it's a little bit more personal, and you start seeing those faces because everyone that lives there literally walks out. So if you go to the same area, you're bound to make those friends every year.
Yeah, and we would go with my grandmother would come and meet us, and my great grandmother lived in the house that we would go to the parades from. So they would come to the parades with us, and we knew if a doubloon was coming, move out the way because they were going to step on our fingers to get it.
Yeah.
So,
I was the same way. My great grandmother lived on Homestead, so yeah, we parked there, walked 3 houses down, and there we were. So, but you mentioned before that the significance of the bras, but ladies in your organization having to deal with that pain. Is there any charitable things that y'all do to help out?
We donated money to the Kenner Business Association's Christmas party. They gave money to hotel, restaurant employees in the city of Kenner who were struggling with work because of tourism being so far down. The service industry. And so we donated money towards that. We give money to Unite, which is a special support group for the ladies with breast cancer. One of our riders was actually in that group, and they do fashion shows, and they just build each other up. They unite together.
That's nice.
So we make donations to that.
I mean, it's hard to imagine, that you guys are, I'm sure you do all you can, but putting on a parade isn't an inexpensive thing. You have 200 members. I'm sure that takes all of it. So, however much you can help, that's a wonderful thing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we also donated money to the Krewe of Isis, which the captain of Toth's grandson has NF1, which is a disease that causes tumors to just develop in the body randomly. So we donated money to that organization where we donate money to research.
Nice.
So we try to help where we can.
Yeah.
It surprises me how many crews, it feels like everybody, is a member of their community, much more than just a parade.
That's exactly it. Our crew is maybe not huge. We're not a huge parade, but we're a big family.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we've started to learn with a lot of the crews is how much of a family it is, to where, a lot of people outside of Mardi Gras, they think that, all this crew does is just Mardi Gras Day. But, year round, every crew that we've interviewed with has told us about, how they've got events going on year round, whether it be, fundraising projects or, social aid projects, or just, gatherings, like we were talking about with broad decorating parties or, their throw decorating parties. And it's, and we see it with our own crew as well. The amount of events that go on year round. to keep everybody involved, and it's really really cool to see.
Yeah, I think it's a side of the Mardi Gras people don't realize, that
We're a
that really
social
happens.
organization.
Yeah.
It's not just the parade,
Right.
And people are like, well, do I get a discount if I just do the parade? No.
No.
Like, you want to be part of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You want to know the people that you're riding with. You want to know, not necessarily just the people who you ride with on your float, but the people who ride on the other floats. That when you go to events, whether it be the ball, whether it be a fundraising event, whether it be a
Bingo,
social
fish
aid,
fry,
whatever.
bingo. We work
Yeah.
bingo every Saturday, which helps to
There's
support
lots
us
of bingos.
and be able to give money because it's to support the community. So we
Yeah.
can use that bingo money to help us with that.
Do you have any other events y'all do throughout the year that maybe are not necessarily just crew related or open to the public or anything?
In the past, we've done a few plays in like Rivertown. We've gone to plays and sold tickets for that. With COVID, we kind of got away from that a little bit. Something we want to start doing as soon as we can. But we really, we have monthly meetings. We never stopped having monthly meetings.
Yeah.
The day Cheryl tested positive, she was like, girls, I need y'all to take over the meeting. So we never even skipped the meeting when she got sick. So we picked it up and carried on.
I never knew Cheryl, but it was nice to see the outpouring of love I saw from all the other crews, just talking just highly of her, just praising her.
She gave her everything. She was truly dedicated to the crew.
Oh, yeah. Where do y'all host y'all's bingos, actually?
Our bingos are at the Lions Club on Airline Highway.
Oh, okay. All right.
A lot of crews have bingo.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with the Lions Bingo Hall. How can people follow the crew?
We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram, which I'm trying to build up. We have a website, kreweofisis.org.
What's the user tag on the Instagram?
I think it's just Krewe of Isis.
Are y'all open to new membership?
Absolutely.
Still?
Absolutely.
Is it still time to get in?
Our
this year,
costumes
or-
are coming in local.
Mhm.
We have we're buying through ODI and they have them here in locally. So if anybody's interested, we can.
Support local.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to tag on to the earlier statement about, not just riding in the parade, but also doing the engagement part about it. I feel like for anyone that's trying to get into Mardi Gras, the first year is always going to be the worst year. But after that, it always gets better. Because I feel like my first year when I rode in, I believe it was Tufts. I did not bring enough throws. I ran out halfway down St. Charles.
Everybody runs out their first ride. That's just the way it is.
I didn't know how to pace myself. I didn't know how long the parade was. I had just so many questions. I didn't have anyone to kind of like mentor me on the basics.
Mhm.
Especially with the drinking.
Yeah.
Not to drink too much too quick. Just kind of like all those things. You have to like balance and pace yourself and all that. Because I literally just sat there, frumpy dumpy the rest of the ride. And I feel like, for anyone out there, after because it's the person to the left and right of you that you really get to know throughout the whole experience. And I feel like it gives you something to look forward to, because every year after that just got better and better and better. And I always look forward to seeing those people, because sometimes you don't get to see them outside of their regular day jobs, but like Mardi Gras, I'll see that person.
And like stick with a float too. Like we've been on the same float for some years. He's been on a couple years longer than I have, but I know everybody on our float, even the ones that come from Shreveport, every year. So I've gotten to know lots of the crew, and we throw too much, but hey, that's how it is.
Man, ladies complain about, I don't have enough space. And I'm like, y'all, Carrollton puts 26 men on this float. We've got 20. If it's really full, it's 20. I'm like, so don't complain. Like, you need to see what it looks like when the men are riding. They've got way more stuff.
When they're loaded?
So I'm going to
Feel
take
sorry
pictures
for
when
the
Carrollton's
tracker.
loaded the floats and say, okay, don't complain, because this is what it looks like when th're riding.
Yeah,
You sit on the stuff.
We got lucky last year. We got on the float and we had a ton of stuff. And somehow there was this little alcove that nobody put anything in. We stuffed this thing. I don't know where we would have gone otherwise.
Yeah, all like the
It would've
footballs
just
and
been
stuffed
on the-
animals.
All the footballs take so much space.
Yeah.
But people like them.
Yeah, they
People
love
like
them.
So I'm trying to get away from beads, just kind of in general. So like, well, I have some like glass beads that are nice, and then like the crew emblem ones. The regular beads, nobody wants them. I don't want to throw them if nobody
Right.
wants them.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is
It's expensive.
everything else is huge. Well, and pricey.
Pricey.
Yeah.
Our parade, they all want the blinky stuff.
As far as the special needs, I make people, especially when there's that traffic jam and you're sitting there for 5 minutes. You know, I want to see like that Mardi Gras light, and you kind of tease them with it.
Mm.
You gotta make them there. You can't just
No,
be
you can't
throwing
be
that
that
stuff
guy.
out.
Don't be that guy.
I'm that guy.
Oh, I'm that girl. We have a dance competition. Okay, who's going to win them?
You see?
Okay, well that makes sense. Let's see the guy like dangling the giant bead for like 3 blocks. Like no.
No,
stop.
when you
Make them
stop
follow
wait-
me down and then throw someone else.
No, while you stop waiting for the toast at the stands, you got to entertain the crowd.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's messed up.
Tease, no.
So, tell us a little bit about your route.
We leave the Esplanade Mall and we head down West Esplanade to Loyola, and Loyola to Vintage, and Vintage to Chateau, and Chateau to Joyeni, and we end at the Pontchartrain Center.
Okay.
So we have a good bit of neighborhood
Yeah.
route.
Y'all have a little bit of an after party after? Or
We're having a pre-parade party this year.
Okay.
In the parking lot of the Pontchartrain Center. We're gonna have some food trucks and a DJ.
Well, we certainly
tables and
appreciate that invite. Thank you.
Come on,
That was easy.
come on.
Do you have a particular favorite throw of all out of everything that you throw? You mentioned the light up things.
I like throwing the light up, like the bracelets and the necklaces. People like it, and they're fun to throw because they fly like a frisbee.
Right.
Anything that lights up, people want it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially in night parades.
Yep. In the beginning, we always had sunglasses in our throw package, and I'm like, why?
Nice.
People would pop the lenses out, and they're wearing them at night without the lenses, and I was like, well, okay, now it's a mask, okay. But I never understood that in our package.
Yeah, so I've always ridden at night, like no matter kind of what I've been in for that reason. It just has a different feel altogether.
It does.
I mean, besides, well, I've ridden St. Patrick's Day, but beyond that, it's always been nighttime. It's certainly a different feel. People are a little more ready to go, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, I like it.
I feel like the true believers are out at night.
Yeah.
That's when the real fun
The
starts.
troopers. I've been there all
The
day,
troopers.
and they're still there at night.
I mean, last year driving down the parade route, we actually had people camping out.
Nice.
Yeah.
They were staking out their spots. So,
Yeah.
not something we saw in veterans because
Well, like you said, it was packed. I mean, where we were even
Yeah, it
3
was,
or 4 people back.
Yeah. and we had kind of came in, like people were sitting on the neutral ground, but we were right at the turn. So that's a wide area.
Mhm.
I mean, if everybody would have gathered up, it would have been 8 or 10 deep. But, everybody kind of spread. And I'm not sure how it was
on the other side.
throughout the distance, but it looked like a good crowd. When we walked up, I was like, damn, look at the crowd,
It was exciting.
Yeah, especially since I was especially surprised. I mean, because we parked like, I don't know, half a block away, 10 minutes before the parade got there. And I was like, they might not have many people who walked up. But that's kind of the beauty of the neighborhood parade. You can just get out and walk to the parade.
We had people who had parties on their front lawns, crawfish boils. So, early crawfish boils.
I'm right off of the route for St. Patrick's Day now. And when I bought the house, I bought it for my great aunt. And that's always been sort of the family reunion spot. I didn't even make an announcement, but
They just show
everybody
up.
showed up. So, like when you're in a neighborhood, like you probably will start some family traditions. Watch.
I feel
It'll
like
be fun to see.
having a friend that has a house on the parade route,
Is the best.
you have to keep that friendship.
Yeah,
You'll be over backwards for them.
not sure if you're mad at me, but here's a King Cake.
Here's a box of Popeye's chicken.
Don't come empty-handed.
Are there any requirements to becoming a member?
Be a lady. We're an
Yeah.
all ladies crew.
Yeah.
We do have a few men that ride on the float with the mademoiselles or the kids. or my float, but or the king. So, but other than that, we're all an all ladies crew, and 16 and up is pretty much the age, unless it's like somebody's daughter and they promise they'll take care of them, and everybody else on the float is okay with it.
Yeah.
You know. So we have riders all the way from 13. I think we have the youngest crew rider we have, all the way up to 70s.
Well, I look forward to seeing y'all grow, and I think it's nice that y'all moved back to Kenner, although one less in Metairie kind of breaks my heart a little bit, but you know, it's a different experience to go out there, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, like I said, it was a fresh breath of air, you know, to see a parade in Kenner where there hadn't been parades for, you know, probably since the police strike, pretty much, you know.
Right.
Other than like Driftwood or, you know,
Which is
Cub
coming
Scout
back this year.
Yes, I saw that Driftwood.
We're going to march in that.
Oh, really?
We have a group that's going to march in the Driftwood Parade.
Awesome.
We'll see you there. We go to all of them.
Yeah.
We did have a memorial award for Cheryl at the ball, where we announced a Woman of the Year. And our winner was Roxanne Laborde, who is at bingo literally every week. She works more than some of the officers do.
Yeah.
So she's truly embodied Cheryl's dedication to the crew. So
And you guys, when do you guys have that? Every week?
we work bingo every Saturday.
Really?
I mean, we take off the Saturday of the ball, the Saturday of the parade.
Mm-hmm.
We took off like the Saturday after Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
and Christmas and stuff, but
Now,
pretty
do
much
you guys show up in like, you know, crew
ISIS
riders
shirts. ISIS shirts.
So we would be able to spot you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she wears a purple, green, and gold jacket with sequins.
I mean, for Christmas we had blinking
I
light up
It's
beads,
kind of hard to miss.
Yeah, how do you miss?
but we all wear our pink and black proudly. So
And what time does it usually start?
our bingo we start selling at about 5:45,
Mm-hmm.
and the game actually starts at 7. They have some gung ho people there that are there. They're true gamblers.
Yes.
But we have people that are there for fun too.
I haven't been to a bingo game in a while. I think I need to dust off my little stamper.
We'll sell you a new one for $1.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Yeah, I think I might have to try that out.
So I think that was all the questions that we
All right.
usually ask. I want to thank you for coming on. Again, on Saturday before Mardi Gras, Krewe of Isis will be hitting the streets in Kenner again,
Yep, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. And I look forward to seeing y'all out on the route. So signing out, we'll see you on the route.
Happy Mardi Gras.